Liverpool's transfer plans have taken another dramatic twist, with yet another attacking target now appearing to have been ruled out. And with the transfer deadline fast approaching, the pressure is beginning to build at Anfield. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. The latest name to emerge is Crystal Palace winger Ismaila Sarr. The Senegal international was a surprise name on Liverpool's radar, with reports suggesting the Reds had explored the possibility of a deal worth around £50 million. But that interest has now hit a major roadblock. According to David Ornstein, Liverpool's initial approach for Sarr has been rejected by Crystal Palace, with the Eagles making it very clear that only an astronomical offer would convince them to consider selling the 28-year-old. And perhaps most importantly, Liverpool never actually followed up their exploratory talks with a formal bid. The reason is simple. Palace's stance has made it clear that Sarr is effectively off the market unless Liverpool are prepared to pay a huge premium. For the Reds, that simply doesn't appear to be an option. Liverpool are understood to have identified Sarr as a player of interest while assessing their options on the right wing, but the fact his current club were unwilling to negotiate has seemingly brought that avenue to an end. And this is where things get particularly interesting. Liverpool are already finding the market extremely difficult to navigate. Their pursuit of Yankuba Minte has stalled after Brighton reportedly placed an £80 million valuation on the winger, a figure Liverpool are currently unwilling to meet. At the same time, discussions surrounding Paris Saint-Germain youngster Ibrahim Mbaye have also become complicated. And then there is Bradley Barcola. The Frenchman remains Liverpool's priority target to become their first choice left winger, but PSG's demands are proving to be another enormous obstacle, with the French champions reportedly valuing Barcola at around €140 million, roughly £120 million. So, suddenly Liverpool are facing a situation where multiple attacking targets are either unavailable, prohibitively expensive, or simply becoming too difficult to negotiate for. And that could explain why the Sarr interest emerged in the first place. Liverpool are clearly exploring alternatives, and with less than a week remaining until the transfer window closes, the club may be trying to find a solution that allows them to strengthen without paying over the odds. There is also an intriguing possibility that the Sarr interest could have been part of a wider strategy. By exploring alternatives, Liverpool may be attempting to put pressure on PSG and Brighton to reconsider their own demands for Barcola and Minte. After all, Liverpool know they have options. If one club refuses to compromise, the Reds can simply look elsewhere. The problem, however, is that the clock is now ticking. Liverpool reportedly remain interested in both Mbaye and Minte despite the current difficulties, while Barcola continues to sit at the top of the priority list for the left-wing position. Any additional signing would then be aimed at strengthening the options on the right. But with Sarr now seemingly unavailable, Minte carrying an £80 million price tag, and Mbaye talks having broken down, Liverpool's list of realistic options is getting smaller by the day. And that is what makes this latest development so significant. This isn't simply another transfer target disappearing from Liverpool's radar. It comes at a time when several potential deals are already beginning to collapse, leaving the Reds with a huge decision to make before the deadline. Do they finally meet the enormous demands being placed on their targets, or do they walk away and risk heading into the new season without the additional attacking reinforcement they clearly want. One thing is becoming increasingly clear: Liverpool's transfer plans are nowhere near straightforward. And with the deadline rapidly approaching, the next move from Anfield could be absolutely crucial. In other news, there has been growing pressure on Alexander Isak since his move to Liverpool, but Michael Owen has now taken things up another level with a brutal assessment of the Swedish striker. Owen has made it clear that, in his view, Isak has reached the point where the excuses have to stop. After injuries disrupted his first season at Anfield, there was always an understanding that the striker needed time to recover, regain his sharpness, and settle into a completely different environment. But according to Owen, that patience is now running out. Isak has had his rehabilitation, he has returned to international duty, he has completed pre-season, and most importantly, he has now returned to full fitness. That means Liverpool can no longer simply wait for the player they thought they were signing to eventually appear. And Sunday's performance against Newcastle has only intensified those questions. Facing his former club at St James's Park, Isak was under the microscope from the very first whistle. The home supporters made their feelings known, and rather than responding with the kind of performance that would silence the criticism, the Liverpool striker struggled to make an impact. He played the full 90 minutes but managed just 28 touches and failed to find the net despite registering 1.09 expected goals. Even more concerning, he missed two big chances in a game Liverpool desperately needed more from their attacking players. For Owen, that is where the frustration comes in. Speaking on TalkSport, the former Liverpool striker acknowledged that he understands exactly how difficult it can be to return from serious injuries. But after giving Isak time and understanding his circumstances, Owen believes Liverpool supporters are now entitled to expect much more. And his comments were particularly revealing because Owen knows just how good Isak can be. The striker produced outstanding performances for Newcastle. He showed the movement, finishing, intelligence and explosiveness that made Liverpool willing to spend so heavily to bring him to Anfield. That is precisely why Owen's criticism carries so much weight. He isn't suggesting Isak suddenly lacks ability. Quite the opposite. He knows the quality is there. The problem is that Liverpool simply haven't seen enough of it. Last season, Isak scored just 4 goals in 22 appearances, while averaging only 23 touches per 90 minutes in the Premier League. He also missed 5 big chances. And now, after finally reaching full fitness, Owen believes the spotlight has to become even brighter. Liverpool need Isak. Mohamed Salah is no longer there, Hugo Ekitike is unavailable, and the attacking options are already being stretched. This isn't a situation where Liverpool can afford to wait indefinitely for their record signing to find his form. Owen even admitted that Liverpool's overall performance against Newcastle wasn't particularly impressive, pointing out that Florian Wirtz was also unusually quiet. In the end, Liverpool did well to come away with a point. But Isak is different. He is the headline signing. He is the player who was brought in to make the difference in moments exactly like this. And when that isn't happening, the criticism is inevitably going to become louder. That is why Owen's warning is so significant.